Let's get it, boys. Young Benjii back again with another tips video for you guys. In this video I'm going to be going over a few ways you guys can increase the number of kills you get per game. I know a lot of good players who struggle to get high kill gameplays, and this should help. I also want to say that if you're not that good of a player, don't try implementing all of these tips straight away. Maybe only focus on doing a couple, because the more of these tips you use, the more people you're going to run into, and the more chance there is of you just dying repeatedly. I'm also going to skip over the obvious tips like where to land, because by now everyone knows the popular locations, and if you don't, then you really shouldn't be watching a video on how to get more kills in your games. All I'll say on the subject is that you want to land quickly, you want to get your loot quickly and get into the action as soon as possible, because most of your kills are going to come early on. The first tip I want to go over with you guys is circle management and understand where players are going to be. A lot of people get to the mid game and just find themselves wandering around the map aimlessly looking for people. This is going to slow your kill count down an awful lot, so it's important to know where your opponents are going to be. Everyone knows that jumping out the battle bus early is a very popular thing to do, so that's where the most people are going to be. Let's say for example the bus flies over Pleasant Park, but you decide to land at Tilted Towers. If the first circle cuts out Pleasant Park, then you should look to set up on the hill outside Tilted and face towards Pleasant Park after you've cleared Tilted. This way you've set yourself up for some easy kills, because people are going to be running from the storm and you've got yourself a height advantage. If you were to land at Pleasant Park and the situation is the same, you have to be aware of the storm and you should look to move early. You don't want to be the other guy in that situation, because you're going to struggle to win a fight at such a disadvantage. If you're proactive and you move early, you can still look to turn and set up to catch anyone you may have left behind at Pleasant. Leaving early doesn't necessarily mean missing out on kills, because your opponents still have to run from the storm. This works the same anywhere on the map. You always want to be on the inside of the circle looking out when the storm is moving. If you can set yourself up with about a minute left before the circle finishes moving, you'll definitely find some late stragglers. The second tip I have for you guys is working on your assault rifle accuracy, or just your long range accuracy in general. You'll find yourself picking up a lot more kills if you don't have to waste your time travelling to everyone you want to kill. If you can pick up a kill at 100 plus meters with an AR or a sniper, that's like a whole minute you've just saved yourself, because you don't have to travel over to your opponents. You may be thinking to yourself, well, I'm still going to have to travel over to grab the loot, but it's not always necessary to grab everybody's loot. With the amount of kills you'll be getting per game, you won't have to loot everybody you kill, especially if you kill someone from range, because you'll have just saved yourself a bunch of material and health that you might have lost if you were to get into a close range fight that could potentially escalate into a build battle. Speaking of build battles, that's tip number 3. You want to try and avoid getting into too many build battles in a game if you're really aiming for high kill gameplays. Build battles suck for high kill games, especially early game. If you get into a fight that lasts longer than 30 seconds at the beginning of a game, you'll miss out on at least 2 or 3 kills, sometimes even more, because everyone's fighting. People drop like flies at the beginning of the game. It's where you'll get the majority of your kills, so you need to make sure you're going from one fight to another. You should look to gather enough materials to play aggressive, but if you're farming 200 or 300 plus material before you even get into a fight, in a busy area of the map like Retail Row, you're never going to get the high kill games you're looking for. Towards the end of the game, it's not too bad to find yourself in a build battle, because build battles usually attract other people looking for kills, and you'll be set up to take on more than one enemy with the materials and ammo you'll have gathered throughout the early and mid game. My fourth tip would be to save Launchpads for aggressive use late game. If you listen to tip 1, then you should know how not to get caught in the storm, which means you'll never have to use a launchpad just to survive. This means that you can use your launchpads to bounce from fight to fight late game, when fights are harder to come by. Also, just a bonus tip to go with this, you never want to be the guy building a 1x1 late game. Building a 1x1 means you're playing too passive. If you're playing solos and you don't have a launch pad and you're in the 4th or 5th circle, feel free to just run around the middle of the circle, wait for somebody to shoot at you with a sniper, and you've just found yourself another person to kill. I say this tip's best used for solos, because if you're in a game like duos or squads and you find yourself with a full team shooting at you, you're going to struggle to aggressively push by yourself. However, if you are in solos, it's actually a very effective technique to get more kills. And finally, my 5th tip would be to learn how to use downed enemies as bait. This tip is for duos and squads players obviously, and it seems to me that a lot of people prefer to just BM their opponents and full kill them, instead of using them as bait for more kills. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't BM, because I think we can all agree BMing is funny as fuck when you're the one doing it. There's actually a clip in here of me editing out of my hiding spot just to BM my opponent, then I reset the wall and go back to hiding. But using your downed opponents as bait is actually a super effective way of getting kills, and it's a good way of forcing good opponents to play it badly. If you have a downed enemy next to you, Shoot him once or twice to lower his health, and your opponent will be forced to move quickly. It will force them to come towards you, and at that point you're in total control, especially if you were in a medium range fight and you've downed an enemy who tried to play aggressively. You shouldn't always do this though. If you're in a heavy outnumbered situation, you don't want a downed enemy letting their teammates know exactly where you are. You will learn quickly when it is and when it isn't smart to use your enemies as bait though. And that just about wraps up this video. Once again, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in to another one of my videos. If you enjoyed, please leave a like or a comment. If you disagree with anything I said in the video, feel free to let us know. And if you want to see more videos helping you improve at Fortnite, feel free to subscribe. But for now, this is young Benjii signing out. Peace, boys.